Scary story. The Clockmaker, Gideon Thorne MANIAC serial killer. In the fog-shrouded streets of Salem, Massachusetts, where history's ghosts still whisper through the cobblestones and every old house has a story of trials and hangings, a different kind of timekeeper stalked the night. His name was Gideon Thorne. 51. Master horologist who restored antique clocks for museums and wealthy collectors. His workshop on Essex Street smelled of brass polish, aged wood, and something faintly metallic that no one could quite place. Customers admired his patience, the way his long fingers moved with surgical delicacy among gears and pendulums. They never suspected those same fingers had stopped human hearts with the same precision. They called him the Clockmaker because of how he left his victims. It started on All Hallows Eve, 2024. First victim, 23-year-old college senior named Abigail Hart, studying witchcraft history at Salem State. She was last seen walking home from a late-night study session at the library. Her body was found the next morning inside the old Burying Point Cemetery, propped against a weathered headstone from 1692. She sat upright, back straight, hands folded in her lap like she was waiting for an appointment. Her eyes had been removed and replaced with small, perfectly round clock faces, antique watch dials set to exactly 3:33 a.m., the time she died. Her mouth was held open by a tiny brass gear, and from her throat dangled a pendulum that swung gently with her final shallow breaths before stopping forever. A single long case clock key had been inserted into her sternum like a wind-up mechanism. The coroner found her heart had been carefully excised and replaced with the actual movement from a grandfather clock, gears still ticking faintly when they arrived. Second victim appeared 2 weeks later, 29-year-old tour guide named Marcus Blackwell, known for his dramatic nighttime ghost tours through Salem's haunted streets. He was found in the basement of the House of the Seven Gables, sitting at an antique writing desk as if composing a letter. Same modifications, clock face eyes set to 3:33, pendulum in the throat, key in the chest. This time the heart had been replaced with a cuckoo clock mechanism. When investigators disturbed the body, a small wooden bird popped out of his open mouth and chirped 3 times before falling silent. The pattern terrified the town. Salem already lived with death, now death wore gears. Third 31-year-old bookstore owner named Lydia Crane. She specialized in rare occult volumes. Found in her shop after closing, seated behind the counter with an open ledger in front of her. Clock eyes, pendulum, key, heart replaced with an ornate pocket watch movement. Its hands frozen at 3:33. When they opened her rib cage, the watch was still ticking, powered, impossibly, by the residual warmth of her body. Panic swept through Salem like a nor'easter. Tourists canceled trips. Locals avoided walking alone after dark. The police brought in the FBI. Special Agent Rowan Pierce arrived from Boston. She had a personal connection. Her great-great-grandmother had been one of the accused during the trials. She felt the weight of history pressing down as she walked the same streets. Pierce interviewed Gideon Thorne because every victim had visited his shop in the months before their deaths. Abigail for a school project on colonial timepieces. Marcus to repair a prop clock for his tours. Lydia to appraise an antique watch found in a shipment of old books. Thorne welcomed her into his workshop. Clocks covered every surface, ticking, chiming, whirring in chaotic harmony. He spoke softly, almost reverently, about the beauty of perfect timing. "Everything has its moment," he said, polishing a brass escapement. "When the hour strikes, it must be exact." Pierce noticed his workbench had a locked drawer. She requested a warrant. They returned at midnight. Inside the drawer, tools for delicate surgery, small clock parts stained dark, photographs of the victims posed exactly as found, and a ledger, not of sales, but of appointments, names, dates, times, secrets each victim had shared while in his shop. Abigail had confessed to plagiarizing her thesis. Marcus had admitted to embellishing ghost stories for profit, even making up sightings. Lydia had revealed she sold forged grimoires to collectors. Each had a sin tied to time, wasting it, falsifying it, exploiting it. Thorne believed he was correcting their timelines, giving them the perfect eternal moment, stopping their flawed clocks and replacing them with precise mechanisms. He wasn't home when they searched. He had one final appointment planned. Fourth victim was meant to be Agent Pierce. He lured her to the Salem Witch Museum after hours with an anonymous tip about new evidence. She arrived alone, against protocol, drawn by the history. The museum was dark, only emergency lights. Clocks from every era lined the walls, silent now. She heard ticking. From everywhere, Thorne stepped from the shadows wearing a long black coat lined with watch chains. In his hands, a large brass key and a surgeon's kit. "You came at exactly the right time," he whispered. Pierce drew her weapon. He didn't flinch. Instead he began to speak, soft, rhythmic, like a metronome. "You chase ghosts of the past, Agent, but you never face your own. Your marriage failed because you were always working. Your daughter barely speaks to you. Time is slipping away, and you let it." Each word hit like a hammer on an anvil. Pierce's hand shook. He stepped closer. "You need to be wound properly, set correctly, stopped at the perfect moment." She fired. The shot echoed through the exhibits. Thorne staggered but kept coming, chains jingling. She fired again. He fell to his knees, still smiling. As he collapsed, every clock in the museum suddenly chimed at once. 3:33 a.m. Then silence. Investigators found his workshop's true secret. A hidden basement filled with unfinished projects. Human hearts preserved in glass jars, each connected to tiny clockwork still ticking, each set to 3:33. Thorne died en route to the hospital. But in Salem, on certain nights, especially around Halloween, people swear they hear ticking in empty rooms. And sometimes, when the hour strikes 3:33, they feel a gentle pressure on their chests, as if someone is turning a key, trying to wind them up one last time. Check out my long videos with scary stories. Visit my channel, and watch. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Recommend it to your friends. Check out my videos, friends.